Actually, that should be fine. I can delete it. Actually, I have an idea.
Okay, cool. Now it's like, let's start. Cool. I'm gonna restart that explanation. So, first of all, when you are testing XSS without web application firewalls at all, you need first to get a reflection. So you will try to find every post request, every get request, and just try to fuzz every params with a special string. So I'm using as a string just my username because it's not that common and it's it's pretty agnostic. And then I put a double quote. I close the tag, so it's like the lesser sign, and then I do %2525 to get double encoding. So why double encoding? Because it's pretty common to get double encoding. In which context can we find? For example, when there is something that comes from an URL, they will try to decode the URL, and by that mean like double encoding could work. So %2525 is a good beacon to do that, and that's all I do. I will put it on chat so everyone can see, and then we go first to the view source, because view source and inspect element are two different things. For example, if I go to view source and I seek for Lupin, I'll see that there is Lupin, and here nothing is encoded, and there is not double URL encoding, but nothing is encoded. However, when I go here to the inspect element, we see that the greater signs is actually encoded. Oh yeah, it's greater signs, not less. Greater signs is encoded. So you might want to check on view source and then on inspect element, because both are actually different and valuable. So once you confirm an injection on one of them, you will actually try to do HTML injection. Like that's just breaking a context or something, but now we need to focus on HTML injection. So just try something like the B tag that is actually used to make it bold, B tag bold. And here we can see there is HTML injection. So most of the people use the B tag. I like to use the I one. S, because it's more like we can, like I don't know, say like you can see directly, right? So sometimes with the bolding, the CSS of the page could be a little bit confusing, and you're like, oh, there is no HTML injection because you couldn't see it because of the CSS. So sometimes it's better just to use the S tag. Yeah, basically view source is like burp suit response. Yeah, exactly. So here we configured HTML injection. At that point, like the first thing to do is like, hey, can we put like a script tag, right? And here we can see that we got the injection of the script tag, and so now we close the script tag and we just do an alert, and we got our XSS. So basically, that's how we are doing things. First, you need to break context, then get HTML injection, and then cross-site scripting. Because if you go directly with a script tag, you might have a filter that will change a bit your payload, so the bypass won't, like you could bypass, but you you can see why and how you can bypass because you didn't do like the step by step, right? So directly brute forcing payload, fuzzing payload might be good for mass scanning, like when you have, I don't know, 1,000 assets and you just want to confirm one injection. But if you want actually to find cross-site scripting and to hunt for cross-site scripting, is way better to do it by hand. Yeah, like sometimes inspect element and edit as HTML will show you the same thing, but edit as HTML will actually like show you, like in the inspect element will show you also DOM reflection. Like for example, if there is a JavaScript that is checking the parameters and then do like a code to reflect parameters inside the page, you might not see it with the view source. So that's why you can always like check both. Okay, so that's basically how we're doing with XSS, like how to find an XSS. And should we brute force fuzz payloads and everything? No. Like if you want read, focus on XSS. And I'm repeating myself, but please do not brute force or fuzz stuff, right? Which are the common vectors? So in my experience, the most common vectors would be actually on get request XSS from the parameters. That's like the most common one that I found. Also on XSS, there is on post request, there is pretty common. But afterward, when you go like to check for DOM XSS, this is less common in the wild. However, it's pretty common to see it on bug bounty hunting because on bug bounty there is a phenomenon that we see that websites are actually more complex, right? Like the websites got like super complex JavaScript, CSS. They have 1,000 functionalities. They'll try to look beautiful, and that's why that DOM XSS is actually is actually a thing in a bug bounty community and in pen testing more than just in the wild, right? So first HTML injection and then XSS. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. First you get the reflection, then HTML injection, then XSS, that order. Because for example, if you got like the reflection and then you try payload directly, you might get blocked by WAF or filter and you say, okay, there is nothing there. We just go away. But if you want to bypass the WAF, you need to confirm HTML injection, and most of WAFs will not block you for injecting HTML because it's not it's not something like, how could I say, Cap? Like
I'm just trying to think the best way of putting it.
like it's not.
I'm just listening to you.
I mean, like when you put HTML injection, why the WAF is not blocking? It's because it's not malicious. You know, like you can't really do an attack with HTML injection.
Yeah, it's not seen as a threat.
Yeah, exactly.
Worry about it, but that's the issue you gotta remember.
And
sometimes the malicious thing isn't always the first thing that comes.
Exactly, and also another thing to think about is that if a web application firewall would block those non-threat stuff, it would be too much aggressive and will create false negatives, right? Like, hey, you are blocked, but you actually like a normal user will be blocked, but we don't know why, right? So yeah, sometimes it could be a problem to web application firewalls to be too much aggressive. So things that is not a big impact, they will just not use it, with not blocking it. Okay, right. Now we will after that small methodology introduction, we will go a bit deeper into web application firewalls. Yeah, final reflection. Insert value some characters. Exactly. View source and check if they get encoded. Try to escape, they get HTML injection success, XSS. Perfect. Sometimes the payload get appended after a URL, like a relative. Is there a possibility for XSS? Like, yes, it is, but sometimes it's not in parameters, sometimes it's just because it's like the end of the URL, and you might want to check for XSS there too. Last week I was doing some XSS in the WAD to report on open bug bounty, and actually when I went to the search bar, the search bar was just something like my query 1 plus my query 2, right? And it was just that. So there I put like my my beacon like that, and I saw reflection. I broke a context inside the inspect element. So at that moment I could inject JavaScript, like HTML injection, then XSS, JavaScript, and everything. XSS can be blocked by Feature, CSP, or WAF, so use HTML first. Exactly. Manual makes sense since most programs are forbidding automation these days. Yeah. Also, like it's also another reason why manual could be better, And also, the reason why doing manual stuff is cool, and Cap tell me if I'm wrong, but it's because like the human eyes and the human like mindset is more valuable than any tools.
Yeah, I'll put it like this. One of the things that when Lupin's challenge came out, and we were going through it a few days ago, some of the things that we came across literally were just mindset. I don't mention it because I know I don't want to spoil it for anyone else, but there's some really simple stuff in there which is just about the mindset.
Yeah, so that's like exactly that's all about the mindset and everything. You see, when we will like put the write-ups of the challenge that I wrote, you'll see that it's about mindset, right? Okay, so I've put a link of the website I'm now using to test the web application firewall. So that WAF is coded by me. So it's not grade A web application firewall or anything, but it's decent, right? It's just to show you how to do stuff, the methodology in general. So I invite you to go there, and actually, if you send me a report for each different context, like allow list, block list, parser, that we talk right away. If you send me a complete report of those, but really detailed, like I don't want just someone putting XSS and just saying, hey, that's my report. I want like someone to explain to me from scratch, to do a recap of what we are doing here, right? Okay, are we back? Oh yeah, we are back.
And I've got one.
Oh yeah, it works. Oh, you won't believe me. Like, just the internet crashed. Like at the moment I was talking. That's amazing. Oh yeah, that's like luck, but actual damn luck. Okay, so at what point, like I was talking, like I was keeping talking, explaining the stuff and everything, So yeah, can someone do like a recap where we were?
Oh, you were there. You were talking about doing the reports for your
Yeah,
challenge. That was it.
yeah. So basically, the person who give me the most detailed report about what we are doing here right now will get an Among Us game. But I really want like the most detailed report that you can give me. Like if it's just one XSS popping up, it's not working. And like all your report needs like to be bypasses of that web application firewall.
Time for me to have a go then.
Okay, perfect. Now we can start. So first of all, we will see what is a web application firewall. So basically, can anyone tell me what is a WAF? Cap, try.
WAF. It is a web application firewall.
Yeah.
Normally is designed to filter, monitor, and block HTTP traffic, normally from a web service. Well, right then. It's normally actually designed to prevent SQL injections, cross-site,
Cross-site scripting.
Yep. Sorry, I'm using my terminology now. What else? So you have, I believe, if I remember correctly, three deployment types or options.
Yeah.
I have to speak now. Transparent bridge, transparent reverse proxy, and reverse proxy. The transparent is refers to the fact about how the traffic travels straight through the web application.
Yeah.
Therefore, the WAF is actually just transparent between the client and server. Contrary to the contrast to the reverse. I'm trying to speak now. Right, reverse proxy.
I mean,
it acts as a proxy.
In general, like for cross-site
in
scripting.
general.
Yeah, like we won't go like super specific, but like just for cross-site scripting, it's just something annoying, like for hunters, you know.
Oh, okay.
Like when you are a bug bounty hunter or pen tester, web application firewall, there is only one definition: is just annoying, and so you want to try to bypass it. So some people actually, when I talk about bypassing web application firewall, they're telling me, "Hey, try to find the origin IP." You know, since it's a proxy, they are trying to find the IP of the server before the proxy, so they just like remove the web application firewall. But here we are not trying to do that. We are trying to actually create a bypass with the firewall. Like going through the firewall, we are going to make a request that is valid HTML and valid XSS, but that won't get blocked by the firewall. And that's what we are trying to do here. Like 0 day, yeah, like all web application firewall XSS bypasses are 0 days. Like on Cloudflare, Akamai, Imperva, WordFence, like all of them are actual 0 days. So if you find one, it will be like your first 0 day, you know? Okay, so now we can try, like there is different type of web application firewall. There is the allow list, the block list, and more that there is firewalls that are more like parser based. So, Cap, what is an allow list?
Wait, pardon?
An allow list or a whitelist, if you prefer.
Whitelist. Whitelist is a specific list of IPs normally, although it can slightly be varied, of websites or IPs that you allow.
Yeah.
Compared to a blacklist, which is IPs that are normally seen as malicious, or in terms of a business, which you look to block. So, you know, you don't want your staff looking at Facebook all the time, so you block the IP of our Facebook.
Yeah.
Or the actual address.
and therefore when the packet tries to go through the firewall, it stops and says nope, you're not allowed, and bounces it back. And that's what you get errors for.
So basically, there is that whitelist or allow list. That is basically, hey, you can do that, but you can't do that, right? And that's pretty much an aggressive firewall. Then we got a blacklist. So what is a blacklist?
A blacklist is a list of IPs which won't be allowed through.
No IPs. No IP is
Well,
like just a list of stuff, Like it could be IPs, it could be payloads, it could be a lot of different stuff.
You can have white lists of emails, which are normally looking at certain addresses, certain domain names.
Yeah.
Which normally is designed. Normally are used to prevent spam.
Yeah.
But they vary. But most of them, in this case, I believe you're talking about the firewalls, as that is what we're here to talk about.
So, the best way to actually do, like, to code a firewall, it will be more like a whitelist based web application firewall. But the thing is, a whitelist based is actually too much aggressive. So when I say too much aggressive, so it will maybe create false negative, and the Lambda user will get blocked, but it shouldn't. So firewalls are mostly block list based firewalls. So basically they say, hey, that attribute or that tag, you can't use it. The thing is, when there is new tags that come up, new documentations, that they need to update quickly. And most of the time, as you might think, they forgot. They just forget. And a parser-based firewall is just a firewall that will try to evaluate the threat before blocking or not. So that's basically the types that I've encountered in the wild. They are more, like, firewalls are much more complex than that. Like, far more complex than that. But it's like just like to give an idea. So first we are going to try the block-based firewall. So if you want like to find the parameter, I've hidden it a bit. You need like to use a tool called Arjun that find parameters for you. But here, like, the parameters is just I. So I invite everyone to just go on that link and try to bypass. So first of all, as we said, what do we want first, Cap?
Wait, what? Sorry, I was looking at the link you sent for a second.
So, what do we want to do first? Like the first step in XSS?
Well, first of all, I'm just looking. First of all, actually, we like some JS, actually, some JavaScript, I'd like.
No.
I know it's not the first thing, but...
No, I mean, like, the first step that we said earlier would be, like, to find a reflection, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let's try to see a reflection. We'll just go with my beacon, Lupin, double quote, closing tag 2525. And here we can see, I'm gonna zoom in, that we got img source Lupin closing tag. We got the 25. So here the closing tag, it's coming from us. And then it closes again. So here we got an injection, right? We are actually breaking the context. So now that we got the injection right, we need like to try to add some tags, some new tags. So let's try like a B tag, and yes, the B tag works. So I'm gonna just do something like hey. And yes, here we got the hey, and the B tag works. as I said earlier, sometimes it can be confusing because it's almost the same as that. So S might be better. And now we got we got HTML injection config. Now that we got that, we need to try to do something malicious, right? So to execute JavaScript, we need or the script tag or using a tag, and with the events, do alerts and stuff like that, like execute JavaScript. So let's try the script tag. And here we are blocked. So the script tag is blocked. Let's try the image tag. And here the image tag is not blocked. Nice. That's the first. So let's try a tag. We are okay. So maybe custom tags, it works just fine. So custom tags, it's actually like tags that can be anything. So I'm gonna like, if people like regexes a bit, because I don't. Like a custom tags is something like that. Just got blocked by a firewall. Cool. Yeah. So now that we confirmed that we can use custom tags and this is a block based, we need to test to add attribute. So to add attribute, don't go like just unload, unfocus directly, because sometimes it won't work. So try to do on X, like that. On X, then append and equal, like go step by step. Then try quotes, and here the web application is not triggering. If then you can add more X's to see if it's like length based, because sometimes some firewall will be like, if there is on and certain amount of characters and an equal and quotes, we will just block. But here it is not, luckily. So now we can try unload, and we are blocked. Right. But as we said earlier, block list based will actually have some flaws. Like if they forgot, forgot to add some new tags or some new event handlers, they will actually, like, we can actually bypass. And if I recall, it was on Imperva last year, I've actually bypassed the web application firewall using, like, abusing the block list and using some new tags or some, weird attributes to find actually the bypass. So we can try a lot of different stuff, on focus some stuff, maybe on pointer up. Oh, on pointer up is working. And actually, if you want to go find, like, you can't know everyone of the attributes. I don't know every one of them. Like, I'm doing a lot of mistakes. So there is like something called the Mozilla documentation that is amazing to find everything related to web stuff. And you go like documentation Mozilla EMG tag, and we can see like all the event handlers and stuff that we can do, right? So that's actually super helpful when you're like getting blocked. Here we want to find event handlers, and here we got like on event stuff and all documentation. I'm just need to find like the list. Oh yeah, that's right. Here we got like abort, before change, everything. So that's actually JavaScript events, but you can put an on before to make it HTML, right? So let's try to find some agnostic stuff. For example, on mouse out. And we are getting blocked. Okay, cool. Maybe that one? If you don't know, that one is like on after script execute or on before script execute. This is Firefox specific. Like it can only be used on Firefox. What do I do if event alert that I start with on gets blocked? Oh, that's a great question. You actually you will try to go for agnostic event handlers that is not starting with on. For example, you will try to find a tag. For example, let's see iframe tag Mozilla documentation. Oh damn, it's in French. Let's go in English. Okay, cool. So the iframe here, they will tell you which attributes they will get. And one that could be cool for iframes will be the source doc. If you can inject an iframe, you will use like source doc. And source doc is actually like writing like inline HTML to embed overriding the source attribute. So if you do like source doc paragraph, I'm gonna write in chat paragraph hello, something like that, it will actually override the source. So if you put source google.com, let's say, it will remove the iframe of google.com and it will just write your paragraph hello. So that's actually one way of bypassing the on attributes getting blocked by filter of your WAF. It must like go to agnostic tags and agnostic handlers. Okay, let's get back to it. So yeah, we got like the on before script execute or on after script execute. Those ones are like Mozilla specific. So let's try to see if on after script execute. Okay, it's not blocked. So we can actually do on after script execute. And then can I do alert one? Yes, I can. Let's try to see if it's valid HTML. And yes, it sounds like valid HTML, valid JavaScript. So here we are on Chromium, so it won't execute. But actually on Firefox, it will. So that's one first bypass on the block list will be try to find agnostic tags and agnostic event handlers. Okay. So now let's go to the allow list based web application firewall. So same thing. Oh, thanks. Why agnostic? There is allowed event handler. Yes, there is allowed event handlers, but you might want to check for event handlers that are a bit weird, you know, that are not that common. You know. Okay, so is there anyone that got any question on how to do with a block list base, like how to identify a block list base and how to try. Like, I'm waiting a bit the chat. Cap, do you got me? Like, how to do it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
just trying to think of any questions that someone might be hiding.
So basically, web application firewalls bypassing, it's all about mapping. You know, you will go step by step. Can I put an event handler? Can I put a tag? Can I do that or that? Or where can come from the is there like a parsing error? You know, and that's what we are going to check with allow list. So we want to actually put some weird HTML that sounds not legit, that sounds not how can I say that, some HTML that is not valid, but actually once in the DOM will be valid, you know. And so that's one way of bypassing the allow list. Here, if I want to like again put Lupin, it works. Now, can I block? Like, can I bypass? Can I break the context? Yes, I can. However, can I put any tag? No, I can't, because here in a allow list based web application firewall, I can only do what the firewall allow me to do, right? So, what's the question of our shell? Like, client side can be bypassed with a burp like proxy. What about server side? So if you want to bypass server side encoding, there is like a double encoding way. If you're in a JSON context, try to actually send JSON Unicode, something like that. If you are like in which other context? Yeah, you can try best fit mapping. So I like to talk about best fit mapping because this is like a good example of weird stuff. So let me grab some best fit mapping study that I have here. So Cap, just like that, can you try to guess what is best fit mapping?
Best fit mapping. I'm going to say it is. Oh god, you've caught me out on this one. Just a little bit of context I should explain to anyone in the stream. I'm not a bug bounty tester, bug bounty hunter. You may have realised that if you looked at my Twitter. I specialise in blue side stuff, especially in Japan. So that's why I sometimes may struggle with it. But best.
That's why I asked you. Like, we are all here to learn new stuff. So if you can understand me, that means that I'm doing like a good job.
Right. So how would I put it? I'm going to assume that it is something where you're looking at what's the, well, not the regex, but the requirements of how long and what might be required. In the sense of, I don't know, what's the best way of describing it? Oh.
Hey, go ahead. Actually, okay, I will help you. Best fit mapping is something like trying to fit the best way possible a Unicode, like when you got a strange Unicode coming, or something that come from different like if your backend is in Unicode 8 and you send Unicode 7, the backend will try to best fit, like to try the best fit of the character into the other Unicode type, right? So for example,
let me have another attempt actually. So it is a way of sanitizing. So, for example, if I remember correctly, I've just looked into it a little bit. There was a bug in Oracle Java WebStart where you could put in the Unicode not exclamation marks, quote marks, open square brackets, capital U plus 0 to BA, both capitals, square C.
I mean, there is something like simpler actually for best fit mapping. Like that's best fit mapping is something that is really rare, right? But that's like just to show you the mindset. Best fit mapping is like try to send an emoji to the backend and to see what happens, right? Like emoji is not a valid character, it's not HTML or anything, but what if like you can send an emoji and the backend can't read emojis? What will happen? And actually, some people have found XSS doing that because the backend will struggle and try to convert the emoji into a valid character. You got me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a way of taking advantage of the conversion. So in terms of the string sanitization routine.
Yeah.
So you're looking to break the sanitization. So when let's say you use the emote's not valid in terms of the backend. So what it's looking at is to try and find the next best character.
Yeah,
Simply,
exactly.
Based on the best fit mapping. So by doing that, you're looking to break it. And
actually, like, just to tell you how weird it is, it's actually people found the XSS like a 0-day but like super old on Firefox that didn't know how to handle emojis inside the HTML and actually could break the encoding of the backend in front end. And that's amazing. Like you put an emoji. I need to show you guys that video. It is amazing.
I'll just pop a link in the chat for anyone who's struggling like I am, which is we explained it to a certain degree. Another way of putting it is you have to remember Unicode. For anyone who doesn't know what Unicode is it's a set of characters represented by numbers, as you probably worked that out by now. But you have to remember there are different sets of Unicode by the number of bits. So, if the back end's using an older one, there's some you could just put a Japanese character in, for example, then it would break. Well, it would try and fix it, map it to something more suitable, and therefore would break. Possibly. I've not tested it. Here we see Ron.
Okay. So damn. Okay, so that's basically the video showing that best fit mapping in action, and basically like what is happening here, it's like injecting the most famous websites in like Amazon, Skype and stuff like that, an emoji at some place, and actually that emoji was completely breaking the sanitization and creating a universal cross-app scripting. And so that's like a way of showing best fit mapping. Like try to strange stuff, right? When you got a strong filter or a strong web application firewall, don't try best fit mapping because now it's super rare. Back in the time, it was something a bit more common. But yeah, like it's about the mindset. Try to think in a way that like people in blue teams could like, what the heck is he trying to do? You know? That makes XSS possible only for that browser. So browser fuzzing is useful. Yeah, browser fuzzing is actually useful. I don't know if you've seen a video of Live Overflow talking about mutated XSS on Safari and how they found it. But it's actually super interesting to see all the research behind it. If you send script alert 1 and backend we set script, I'm not sure. That's really depend of the backend. Sometimes you can like not close tags, but then the DOM at runtime will try to make with it, right? Like to try to make the non-valid HTML valid again. So here on the alert list we got blocked on any tags. Let's try just to send I don't know, an href. It works. We can inject href. So can I eject like, I don't know, something else? No. So here there is a certain list of tags and event handlers are allowed. So do you think this is a good idea to fuzz everything and to try to see if we could execute JavaScript? Like to actually brute force every component, like every tags and every attribute? Gap, can you answer that question?
You want my answer to it? Well, yes, if you have the time, but I'd not advise it. You're looking for a tool.
Yeah, exactly.
Realistically.
And also, if someone creates an allow list, like they might think about what they want to actually try and not try, or like if there is JavaScript executing, right? So you can find a hole in the allow list, but it will be much more harder. So here what we are going to try, it's actually to see if we can find a bug inside the backend and the way it is parsing the HTML. So every web application firewall is trying to see if the HTML is correct. But sometimes you might want to try some strange stuff. For example, what if I do that? Type closing and then just opening the beginning of a comment. So, as I said earlier, here like it's just the beginning of the comment, right? Like I'm gonna zoom in again. We're just beginning a comment. But here in the DOM, it's actually a comment. Huh, that's strange. Can I like make the beginning of the comment and then exit it? Like just begin the comment and break it directly. And yes, I can. Like if I put some stuff here, yep, I've broken the comment, but that's not what is it is here, right? Like if you actually look here, this is a valid comment for the browser, and it's like the browser is somehow trying to change it, but the WAF will try, like will say, hey, all of what is behind that, all of that is just a comment, so there is no threat, right? So let's try to see if we can inject a script tag. Yes, we can actually inject a script tag. We're not blocked by the WAF. So then close the script tag and create an alert 1. And here we go. We bypass the WAF. So, Cap, do you have a question on that one? Because I know this is a bit difficult to understand what exactly happening.
No. What
No
are the
questions.
I do? No question yet. Not yet.
Okay, cool. So, for the allow lists, like your homework for the report, and again, you can win an Among Us key on Steam. So it might be cool if you like the game. So you might want to try some weird parser stuff. Here we are blocked directly when we try to inject an handler of some sort. But what happens if I try to inject twice the same event? Let's see. Oops. Oh yeah, nice. It just disappeared. Okay, that's a weird behavior. Actually, I didn't think of that one. Oh yeah. The backend just told me no. That's weird. Yeah. Yeah, can we see that I've tested my code for hours? Yeah. Okay, it works. Alright, so now if I put like a comma before it works. Huh, that's weird. Like that's how Python HTML, like the HTML parser of Python is handling stuff. Actually, that comma trick is someone for the challenge where I used the same web application firewall that I created, found the comma trick, and like what's happening in the parser side is like the comma will become a separator of attributes, but like that's just weird what's happening. And actually that person that found the trick is called Nowaski, and he's an amazing XSSer, and he created a bug report on the library that I'm using, HTML parser, right? So I will give you the bug report so you can have the mindset of what's happening like in the behind. If you can understand how parsers are behaving, and you might want to try weird stuff, but meanwhile understanding the parser, right? You don't want to just fuzz or brute force, because this is just useless. It's just making some noise and requests for nothing. So try to understand like the workflow of the parser behind. Yeah, that's a very nice idea. Run the library on your local system and then fuzz the hell out of it. You have got the weird behaviors. Max XSS. Yes, that's a good way of take parsers libraries, run on localhost, try to create a decent word list, not a word list of just every payload that you see in the wild. Try some weird characters, create everything by hand, create your own automated tools. You need to know what's happening. You need to actually give the workflow at your tools, like your mindset, right? So I'm gonna put that one in chat too. Okay. So now we got like an evaluation parser based web application firewall. So, Kat, if you were a firewall, how would you evaluate like an HTML injection / XSS?
How do I evaluate it?
Yeah. Like how would you determine if it's a threat or not without block or allow list? How would you do it yourself?
How would I do it? That's the problem. Without minimizing those options.
Yeah, that's a trick question. But that's like actually that's all the deal. You need to think like them, right? So I will let you a moment to think about it.
Well, let's go through it actually. So you're looking, if you're going to data mine something, you're looking for what's actually in there. So if you can't block, so as you said, I'm not allowed to block words. I'm not allowed to block certain things like script tags or just any general tags. What else would I look for? Characters. But then that is also allowed. That is also
actually you can use list of blocking, but try to evaluate the threat, like how threatening it is, right? For example, if I just do a bold injection, just like, oh damn, yeah, forgot that that was a thread for that parser. If I do like hello equal event handler here, do you think this is a threat here? Like just create an event handler called hello.
No, not at first.
Not at first. Okay. Now, do you think that every event, like everything that begins by on, would be a threat?
No.
Really? Yeah, like I mean, you're right.
Not
Yeah,
everything. That was your question.
it's right. Yeah. You are totally right. Like if you do on and just some gibberish, this is not a threat. Okay, but in the one that I've coded, this is actually a threat. I've made like a sort of regex. Lupin is the threat. Thanks, guys.
Well, in terms of regex, so let's say your firewall is looking at a regex form and it's gone, okay, so anything with on, and then regex, let's say A to Z, A to Z, 0 to 9, then yes, you would treat it as a threat.
Yeah. Like for example, on 1 here would be a threat because of the regex that I use, right? So here we can't use the on attribute, but again, this is a parser based web application firewall. So the same thing that we used earlier could be also a bypass. Like that. That could be a bypass because this is the same parser with the same issues, right? And that one is really hard to find an XSS because, for example, if I just create a new tag, this one will block me. If now I can put event handlers. What if I just put the same event handler again with nothing? Right, that works. And then unload, it's not working. So pollution won't work there. So you need to find like new ways of thinking it, right? I don't know if I'm being clear here. Yes, this stream would be uploaded somewhere.
I'm being clear, don't worry. Just remember, I'm processing all of this information as well as hopefully everyone else on the stream.
Yeah. So if you folks like got any further questions.
So actually, I have a question.
Yes. Go ahead.
This goes back to mentality. What's the first thing you do? Talk us through what goes through your mind is when you go for a bounty, or you just go and look at a website.
For a bounty or just for an XSS?
Exercise. Let's go exercise. We'll go to bounty.
Okay, let's go XSS. So honestly, the first thing that I would do to get like a cross-site scripting would be to go on Google. That's my first the first thing I would do. Like, let's do a bit of recon here, and let's say, okay, brute logic, to find a bug on brute logic. So we might not find anything, but yeah. So I just go Google dorking. So Google dorking is an advanced way of doing queries on search engines. You might want to try on Bing, on Yahoo, Yandex, different search engines. I've done a talk on that, so that's not the subject here. But yeah, I would use Google dorking and just like over like the first pages and check like what is down here, and first to try to see if there is anything with parameters that is like indexed by Google. So there, if I go here, yeah, there's something with parameter that is indexed. So I will like go with my Lupin 2525. I will check any reflection here. So I got something. I will also check any reflection there. It's not encoded, and there here I can evaluate just by seeing that I might have XSS if there is not WAF, and so there I can, since I really know the website, I do a script tag, then we got XSS, right? So that's like the first thing I'm doing. When you go Google dorking, like a neat trick that I found is like it's cool to begin by the latest the latest research, right? Like go on Google and try to look at the far-fetched index page. Why? Because those pages are less viewed, and you might find some secrets there, like some weird endpoints that is not meant to be indexed by Google, but it is. So that's a neat trick that I found. And that's basically like the first step of me searching XSS, is like to try with Google to find parameters. Then my next step on the recon is like firing the tool that I said earlier, that is called June. Yep, that one. So that tool is pretty good because like it like will identify pages. Like, I don't know if you know that some parameters can just be some hidden input there. So if you go like on the page source and you find input type hidden, you might want to check to take the ID of the input and to actually use it as a parameter, or the name or anything that is written. You might try to use it as a parameter, and most of the time, like, it works as a reflection. And not all the time, but quite sometimes there is XSS on those hidden parameters because they are not meant to be used by a user or be discovered. So Arjun is evaluating those hidden parameters and try to see if there is reflection. And also it will try to brute force. So that's like the only automation that I use while doing recon, right? So once I can break context and can have HTML injection, the next thing that I go doing is actually going to Nox. Okay, no XSS. I don't know if people pronounce that. Like, yeah, I go to that tool. So from Brute Logic, and it's just like when I got HTML injection already. I'm not using it for recon. I'm using it like to get a quick alert box, because this tool is amazingly written and it works most of the time. Once I have HTML injection, I just go there and I got my pop-up and I'm ready to report, right? But when this tool fail, that means there is like a strong WAF, a strong filter, and that's the moment I like to that's where the challenge starts, right? Like trying to map the WAF, try injection of tags, try to see which tags work, which tag it's not working. If tags not working, event handlers. I am in a context when I can inject event handlers, yes, no. Can I inject that or something else? So this is like a game at the end of the day, like a mind game, right? Also, you might want to map for like I forgot to tell that, but to map also the JavaScript and find some weird JavaScript going on. For example, if here I do alert, this is not working, right? Every alert is not working. So you need, like, the easiest thing in a WAF is to make JavaScript execute. But then the most hard part, once you got the HTML injection working and the JavaScript executing, is to make the JavaScript do what you want it to do, right? To pop an alert or something. Where can we practice WAF bypasses? And that's a good question. Just go to the name of the WAF, because most of the time they're using their own WAF, right, on the official website. Create a script tag, and here you have been blocked by Cloudflare. And from here, what I like to do is take a website where I can inject HTML, because of course there is no XSS here. So yeah, I just take a website where I know there is XSS, and I try like XSS, autofocus, unfocus, something this line, and then I try to go there and check, hey, I am blocked, am I not? And here, that's like what I wanted to say. Getting to actually the execution of JavaScript. So like yeah, test is not defined here. So actually getting there to the injection of JavaScript, like just that JavaScript is executed, even non-valid, this is like the easiest part of the web application firewall bypass to get to that. But once you're here to get, like, for example, if I put alert here, it would not execute, right? But then I try to open a parenthesis on Cloudflare. And yeah, opening a parenthesis is working fine, right? But is it executing anything? No, it don't. Then I close the parenthesis, and now I'm blocked because it should execute. So at that point, you will need to take the documentation of Mozilla and find anything JavaScript related on how to make a JavaScript valid without parentheses, how to make JavaScript valid with some weird stuff going on, right? So it's not just about some parser issues, because here Cloudflare is working in the way like I will allow everything, but once there is JavaScript execution, I'm going to start blocking the JavaScript execution. So that's here where you need to be super good, is to learn JavaScript enough, or to know, or to Google enough to actually get the execution of the JavaScript, and by that mean like bypass the web application firewall. Yeah, so that was a question.
But so I've got a question being asked, which is robustness is a deciding factor whilst making a WAF. Would it mean compromising on better logics than for something that breaks the robustness trait? Well, one thing you got to remember, and I knew a little bit where it was, the small amount I know, in terms of an enterprise, robustness is one of the things you need. You have to remember, this is, in terms of commercial side, robustness is what you need. If you're going to have to compromise on something, don't compromise on robustness. Because as soon as the robustness is, as soon as the WAF's down, the whole of the service is down. You have to remember, and I know some of you might be bug bounty hunters, but in terms of security, there's a thing which we learn, which is CIA. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. A lot of people think about the first two. Don't ever think about availability. I tell you now, you'll make a lot of money by stopping availability. Also prevent a lot of people making money. So realistically, I'd say, I would compromise if it meant having better logic, but your chance of your WAF going down, I would. That's DDoSing isn't something that a WAF deals with all the time. You remember. What was I going to say? I had a point I was going to make with it. So,
like, like you were saying, did your OSINT while we got a web application firewall, like something along those lines? Okay, I will just answer the question of Archer. Like, DDoS out of scope mostly. Yes, it's out of scope when you're doing bug bounty hunting, but when you're doing pen testing or any other security or auditing, or when you are a blue teamer, DDoSing is a big deal. Like, if someone can just stop everything just by getting your IP, like, it is a big issue, right?
Another point I'll make is, as much as we are talking about, cross-site scripting, you have to remember a WAF isn't just something for bug bounties, it's for security. Bug bounties are, but basically this seminar as such, let's call it seminar, is looking how to get around a security measure, which is not designed to prevent you guys from getting out. The jobs, the bug bounties jobs are to find the bugs. And if it means you can get through a WAF, you get to the bug, which gets you a little bit cha-ching, then you go for it. But you have to remember, WAFs aren't just designed to stop you guys. It's designed to stop everyone.
Yeah.
And another context is a lot of low-level, right, Lupin, I'm going to have to stab you here a bit. Lupin hasn't designed something that blocks out malware, DNS, DOS. He hasn't designed that. Yeah. He's designed something which looks at.
It's just for cross-site scripting, yeah.
It's just looking at that. And you have to remember there's a lot of attacks out there. And as much as, I wouldn't advise DOSing something. I've seen DOSing occur in real time. It is a mess. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about scripting. So let's get on with scripting.
So, I mean, like, we can do a small talk about web application firewalls in general. There is no problem.
I did just see the comment about Cloudflare.
Yeah.
That's why Cloudflare procs is not. It doesn't just proc for when you've put something in wrong. It procs when it goes. Excuse me, you're on high. There's a high amount of requests. You go to right. Think about all those times you've tried to play a video game. Or let's say let's look at Xbox or PS4. The PlayStation. There we go. There's all these. You occasionally see these instances, where tons of people are requesting a lot of things, and you sometimes do see. I see it a lot on websites nowadays, where you go on a website, Cloudflare will pop up. You haven't put anything random in. You've just put in the normal URL. It's not looking at what you've put in. It's looking at who else is requesting, let's slow you down.
Yeah.
And I think a good way of putting it is let's actually talk about what is a firewall a little bit. How can you imagine a firewall? So imagine it is literally a wall with holes. But the problem is you should block up some of the holes in terms of the ports. Now, we're not looking at what ports we're using. We're looking at what we're putting in for a port. We're just using HTTP port, which is 8080 or 80, I think it is. I can never remember.
8080 and sometimes 8000. There is a lot of HTTP ports.
But with that, we're looking at so we're just dealing with just one of those ports, at least one of those three. Normally, you're looking at 80 or 8080. Now we've got cars. This is going to be a very odd way. So there are now packets. We're talking about the requests for cars. They're trying to get through the tunnels. Now, if you throw a car a blocked up tunnel, it's going to crash. Doesn't work. That's good. That's the firewall doing its job.
Exactly.
What happens when you send the car through, let's say, port 80? Those cars will start making a traffic jam. And that's fine. That's how the world works. That's how things work. When everyone goes to, say, Google, 8 p.m. 8 a.m. at work, that's normal. Google's not worried about that. But it's more fishy down the shop when everyone's like, oh, let's go grab a fish and chips. It does worry. And they're not going to have a firewall. But problem is now let's actually look at what a WAF actually does in terms of it. So a WAF, in terms of Cloudflare, is now looking at that line of cars and going, there's a lot of them. And they're driving very fast. And they're all about to crash in the tunnel. And they're just basically blocking up the tunnel, which means no one else can get through. So instead, what Cloudflare does is they put a police officer. That police officer slows down the traffic, one at a time. Come on, not all of you. And it allows for DOS not to occur. There are ways of getting around it. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm not here to talk about that.
Yeah, man, that was actually super great. Yeah, WAFs are like police for web servers, basically. Oh man, that was a great explanation of how to explain WAFs. I really liked it. Also, all the methodology that I'm giving you for cross-app scripting will also work for SQL injection. Like web application firewalls will also block SQL injection, for example. Let's try Cloudflare again. And I just O1 = 1 and I'm blocked, right? So here for SQL injection you need to apply the same methodology, which means not get the reflection and everything, but to actually deeply understand the language you are using, and then to try agnostic stuff, some weird behaviors that might say to the parser, the SQL parser of Cloudflare, hey, that's not normal SQL injection, this is not valid SQL, right? But it is, and then you go through. That's basically like the methodology, and so you need to handily craft requests, very precise requests, in order to make those bypasses. And a tool will never be 100% like the human mind, right? Like we can all agree here that all of our minds individually are more sophisticated than a tool that someone coded in, I don't know, 1 week to 4 or 5 years, right? So, Cap, I know that you are doing like some OSINTs, and so can you testify that it also works in the OSINT worlds, like these things between tools and hand stuff, right?
Okay, well, in terms of learning it using being hands-on or using tools. Yes. So one thing that a lot of people don't realize, and this is just general security anyway, is it's good if you can use the tools. But if you can just use the tools, you're a script kiddie. You're not anywhere near higher ups. And this is the rule. And in terms of OSINT, as I was talking to Lupin a few days about, I've recently been taken on by a new mentor for OSINT. And one of the things that both me and him agree on is a lot of people like to rely on the tools. They say, oh, it's a God sent thing. And I'll tell you now, it is not. You've got to learn the mindset and actually been able to do it. Give an example. Anyone here actually know what OSINT is actually? So that'll be a good start actually. So I might as well explain it. So it's open source intelligence. It is what you do when you want to find something from an open source. Yep, there we go, open source. Exactly. So I specialize that for my work. I do threat intelligence. So I have to use it a lot of the time. In terms of this, let's put it like this. Let's try not to hit my NDA. That would be a good idea. Yeah. I'd prefer not to have a lot of people.
I'm gonna put you an example, and you'll try to work around that. Okay?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Imagine someone on Instagram or Twitter bullying someone on video, and you want to find those people back.
That's okay. So let's say I'm assuming it will be in a park or somewhere. So you're looking at, first of all, the time of day. That's something which people don't consider. Recognizable features. Is there actually any metadata? A lot of people don't realize metadata is a powerful weapon. Now, people instantly go, let's use XIF. Yeah, XIF is... the question is... So I just saw something which caught my eye. It's cyber stalking then? But that's the thing.
That's a great question.
There's something called ethics. How do you use it?
You draw the line.
Look, there is something great called OSINT for Good. I highly recommend it. If you don't know what it is, look into it. OSINT for Good. There is actually there's the Intelligence Con, which has been announced. That is what it is. What cyber stalking is, as I was once called. You're not going to say that. That'll be it's quite a bit of a laugh. I can't say it. But let's put it like this. There's a video. Okay. You're looking at locations. You look at metadata. XF tool. Let's go back to XF tool. There is actually something great. Lupin, I'd appreciate if you just put in Jiffy XF when you're done typing or whatever you're doing.
Wait. Exit. Sorry, my bad.
FE. Not just XIF. No, third one down. This one down. Jiffy's meta.
This one.
One down. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize this is just the XF tool as a website.
Yeah.
Therefore, it doesn't really count as a tool, but I highly recommend it. It's not the most effective thing, but it will get you a lot of stuff. I prefer a picture actually, but right. So you got that. You got metadata. Let's say there's no metadata. Okay, we're looking at locations. So let's say we've worked out it's somewhere in the UK. Fine. Can we find a feature? Do we see, like, I don't know, let's do it in France because this will be easier. Okay, let's see the Eiffel Tower. So now instantly know where the area it is in terms of it's around the Eiffel Tower. So now you're looking at external buildings. This is searching Eiffel Tower. I hope there's a park around. Yeah, there is. Good. So this is the first thing I'd do is I'd bring a pitch, just Google Maps straight away. Let's say we can see the little bit of water. Let's say, zoom in a bit. There was water. I saw the water.
Yeah, here's the water.
Yeah, so let's say you notice the lake or the whatever water source it is. So instantly now have an idea of what you're looking at. Now, what about the actual person? So now you've worked out their French. Now this is where it gets a little bit harder because I don't
like anything. Wait a second. How can you say they are French or not just visiting France, right?
Let me finish. So you can make the assumptions they're French, but there is another way of doing it, which is if the picture Actually, no. What was the there was what was the explosion recently? Oh,
Oh, the you mean like the cathedral, like Notre Dame de Paris,
yeah.
that went on fire.
Oh, no. It just came up on chat.
For example, we'll be using Google Docs to find files that are accidentally exposed to the public on a web server. Oh, Lebanon explosion. That's the one?
Right. That is another example of OSINT. It isn't exactly. You have to remember there are different versions of OSINT. So, for example, the OSINT I do a lot of the time is IPs. I look at South Korea, China, Russia, and I'm looking at why they're. So normally, what I get is a box. And then that box contains files. In those files are just IPs and little bits of information. There's an example I will talk to Lupin in about 2 years' time, which explains it very much. So this is the issue now with an NDA, but this could go anywhere. I'll tell you this now. This is what happens. We went from like when Lupin called me a few days ago to have a chat about this. It went from 30 minutes to like multiple hours.
Yeah, that was amazing.
In terms of that, OSINT isn't just pictures, it isn't just videos. It is files. It is IPs. It's your name. It's your email. The issue is a lot of people don't realize is it things like just general security. It takes time. It is time that a lot of people don't realize. As I said to Lupin, I've heard of people's mums going, "Oh, I'd love to do OSINT. It sounds great. It sounds like track down these people," and it's like, it can take months.
Yeah.
To do that. So what I was going to say is Snapchat Maps is an underrated source. And in terms, it is. So in the real time, so any real time event, so an assassination, anything which blows up on Twitter, my advice is search up Snapchat Maps. I think it's .com. Let me just check. I'll just do it.
Wait, Snapchat Maps?
It should just bring up
that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to a map. So instantly you can now see areas. If you go to Tokyo, let's go Eiffel Tower. Let's have a look at Eiffel Tower. Go to France, or choose an area and we'll go to it. We'll just go to it.
Okay, Eiffel Tower. Oh, wait, do you mean that's like the most populated areas right now?
No, click on it. Just click on any color.
Oh no!
Welcome to public Snapchat.
Damn!
I can tell you now, I got assigned something a while back. Yeah, there you go. Where I was asked to just as a little fun thing, which was to monitor somewhere over a month. What they wanted to do, they weren't monitoring. I was asked to monitor how long it took for a building to be up. 19
minutes ago, but man, it's like having surveillance cameras all over the world.
There's a funny scene in an anime recently, which I started watching, where they shut down all this. They all shut down all the cameras. The way of doing it is by using other people. You have to remember, we're in a world now where technology. Actually, let's see if we can go to Tokyo. Let's see if I can find somewhere. Let's see if we can find the British Embassy, and that's near where I work. Go Tokyo. Go Japan. Zoom in Tokyo. Okay. So instantly, this is not so popular, but straight away you're starting to see information here.
Yeah, there is those like the blue points, like that means like how many people there is in the area, like how many Snapchat users there is, right?
That's all the public ones, and that's just this is amazing, isn't it? But it is. Wow. You could. So let's put it like this: in the Olympics, what I'd like anyone who's interested in OSINT when the Olympics occurs, see if you can spot me, even though no one knows what I look like right now. Genuinely, I will bet you a fiver the Olympics will have a lot of this. Any real-time event, any terrorist attack, any accident, any major accident that gets the news, I advise just dropping on Snapchat. You'll start seeing some interesting knowledge.
Wow, that's actually some deep OSINT, but it's like replacing all the cameras in the world by actual people. That's like a bit like dorking, you know. Dorking comes from the word dork, to be a dork. It's like, it's not the fault of Google if there is information on the internet that's sensitive stuff. It's because people are too dumb to make a robot.txt and are called dork. So that's could be a way of saying that's dorking, because people will get on the internet public data that could be super useful, like to track every background and stuff, right? You there?
Yeah. I was just. Someone asked who's speaking. Dolphin Boy. Oh.
It's a Yellow Cap Ghost. He is the co-host of today.
Yeah.
I think like of the other streams, because it's super fun. I'm looking at the hour and now it's 7, so we might wrap up for today. We might do another stream in the weekend or next week, because this is fun. Like, I don't know, Cap, if you like it.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it. Oh, you want to follow me? My advice is literally search up the name.
Yeah, they do some OSINT. This is your first task in OSINT. If you are interested, just look him up.
I'll give you a big tip. Lupin definitely did not tag me in anything recently.
Oh yeah, I tagged you. Sorry, but I tagged you.
Honestly, if you want to learn more OSINT, I don't talk about live infosec right now in terms of my blog, although I will announce this right now on the stream. I am, as I said to Lupin, I'm doing a group attack blog on who is attacking Japan and why. The only reason I don't do a lot of infosec on my Twitter right now is because I have a big fat NDA on my head, which will squash me if I do anything wrong. But that is why I advise keep your eye out. Maybe in 2 years' time you'll see. Not even 2 years' time. Hopefully my talk gets accepted and I can do mine in the end of next month.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Feel free to ask any questions on Twitter. I don't mind.
Yeah. If anyone got any question, we are on Twitter, on Discord. My DM is always open. I answer every question about XSS, web app base, or how is the weather. I don't care. Yeah. So, just a quick reminder. Before we wrap this up, remind you that send your reports to the email, and just go on the IP that I will link again, and send all your reports on your most detailed bypass. I want to see some new bypasses, because if you just copy paste the one that I've shown, I will not give you the reward, and the reward is the game Among Us. If something is not working, if you need help, just ping me, DM me. There is no special rules, just don't break the VPS, please. And have a great evening, everyone who are in my time zone. Great morning. Have a good day. See you soon, everyone.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Sayonara.
Oh, that might be a thing, like at the end, au revoir, you know? Okay, cool. Au revoir.